I'm doing this video because I'm amazed that after 15 years, I'm still being stalked by skillfully trained men that seem to be affiliated with George Clooney and the film industry. My story is baffling, and it's just sickening to retell this story to people that I wanted to end the first month it began. It has been a nightmare for 15 years, a horrible ride, a ride that I didn't want to be on, by a bunch of twisted psychos who love to pick on innocent women who don't want any part of the film industry or crime or blood-sucking thieves. All I did was receive an invitation in the mail to go to a writers' conference in Maui. Someone started contacting me online after they saw me at the Random House site. That was the only place I knew how to visit for a year because I didn't understand Cyberworld, and I was a writer, so I saw the Cyberworld Red Hen Cafe on the back of a book at the grocery store. So I went there and started just putting my material out every day, trying to understand Cyberworld, just to see if I had any talent. So I went to this conference. I pitched my work to Andy Cohen at Grade A Entertainment. I met John Saul and Michael Sack. Everybody asked me to come to more conferences. They told me I had talent. They didn't tell me the first year that they had used my story in a movie. I had to see that at the theater like a year later. But they kept telling me to come to these conferences, so I kept going. I paid over $1,000 for airfare. That didn't count for my husband to go. I always had to get a professional wardrobe. I took some classes to polish my work to perfection. I went year after year for 7 conferences. I went on a cruise with these famous people. I went on a cruise with Terry Brooks, John Saul, Michael Sack, and the best-selling writers in the business. Some of them did the Star Wars trilogy. I met Steven Spielberg's people. I went to the film festival with the film department from UCLA and Steve Farber. I mean, I really was dedicated to writing. I wasn't interested in being in the motion picture business other than writing, and my main interest was script writing and novels. But I could write songs, and I did poetry, and I could do Christian work as well as fiction. I wasn't a fantasy writer, and I wasn't into science fiction. But after these people put me in some kind of mind control torture program, I've started writing about my experiences, and my work has turned into science fiction. They believe in aliens and all these things and demonic possession. And I have tried to just live a normal life with my husband. We live on 10 acres. We have animals. We are very private people. I have no interest to deal with Satanists or people in the motion picture business that try to get me to take my clothes off and have sex with different men. I'm keeping my clothes on, and I'm not interested in their men. I'm a married woman. I've been with my husband going on 25 years. I am devoted. I am old-fashioned. I'm a Christian. My best friend, who was a nun, tried to get me to join the convent. I went there with her for every summer, and then I used to be her helper every week. I started at age 18, and I continued even after I got married and married my husband. I'm just a very faithful person. And now, not only do I have Clooney's people after me, who now seem to be affiliated with the CIA, I have someone else after me, because lo and behold, after I got a lawyer and tried to make all this stop, and I paid a forensic detective that worked with the CIA named Mark Alcock to look at my hard drives and find out that my work was used by Warner Brothers and Disney, and even Spielberg used the title to one of my stories. And to get to the bottom of who was doing this, then I started getting stalked. I started getting death threats. I started being tortured. I never asked for a cent. But these people had a grudge because they told me they were building an empire, and I was supposed to beg them and want to work for them. They said there are people putting their head in a noose every day just to get our attention. You should be flattered we did these things to you. And I'm highly insulted that they would degrade my intelligence. They saw my teacher, John Henry. I put his trailer at my page when I was taking lessons to be able to act out my characters because I wanted to create better story characters. I paid for the classes. I paid to stay in LA for a month to learn. I paid for all the UCLA courses, but they said, you're not an atheist and you're not gay. So we're looking for men, and we're looking for people that can not be so old-fashioned. You're too old-fashioned, and we don't want Christians. No, we don't want Christians. But I never asked to be a part of their group. I was just friendly and kind, and I would go online and just give away material. I gave it away for free. But it only took this one bloodsucking thief from my writers' conference that started taking my stories and making horrible things happen in the real world. I would say things, and later they would appear in some of Warner Brothers movies, and they were actually committing real crimes. And I would see them put my suffering and other people's suffering in their work. So then I went to the CIA, and I went to the police, and I went to the FBI, and I pointed out the crimes that were happening in real life that were matching their work, and how they were putting me and other victims in their work. And boy, they said I went down the rabbit hole when I did that. And here it is today, 15 years later. I've put on like 50 pounds. I'm having liver problems, thyroid problems. They tell me they've even given me cancer now of the pancreas or spleen. I'm sick. I'm half blind because they're making me that way. They're torturing me for the thrill of it. They're sadistic. I never knew that Clooney would be friends with President Obama. This all happened before President Obama ran for office. I never knew that later President Obama would talk about how Clooney gave him acting lessons. This is how high up it goes. So here I am now, sick. I need surgery. I've had to buy an RV to run from these people. I've had to buy a house in Vegas. They're so possessive, they broke in 4 times. Last time they did $20,000 worth of damage a few months ago. They will never stop. They are sickly obsessed. But the only leverage I have is to show the godsend was mine. I paid Dr. Zavis $500 to do an interview for the story. I can prove it. I can show Wrong Turn is mine. I can prove it. I can show you how I designed a book cover, and Ellie Roth used part of my book cover on his story, The Last Exorcism. I can show you how this group told me that they were going to do to me what they did to the character in The Last Exorcism. They really believe in voodoo and witchcraft. It was my idea to kill Hitler in Inglourious Basterds. I had that on my PowerBook. I had to buy a PowerBook computer because they hacked everything else. I can show you $200,000 worth of equipment I have purchased to try to stop these people. I can show you how they busted up my security equipment. I had to hire a company out of California to come into my state because they got through 3 different alarm companies. I can show you all the detectives I've hired. Some from New York, some from California, because the ones in my town weren't helping me. I can show you how they vandalized, how they caused me to have car accidents. I mean, that doesn't count the houses I've had to buy to try to get away from these people. They'll follow me anywhere. So now I'm moving to an island. An island. I don't want to leave Kentucky. I love my home. But they're telling me I have to leave my house or I'll be dead. So I just think my only leverage is the proof and my story. How come George Clooney's people and the film people and the CIA are targeting me, but they're paying my teacher, John Henry, money to be in Warner Brothers films after they saw him on my page? They saw Gary Modick at my page. They saw the singer named Carlos at my page, and they offered him a recording contract. There's like 6 different men that I've had at my page because I have a lot of friends. I've discovered talent, and they have used these people. But I'm a woman, and I haven't collected a penny. And I remember I talked to Paris Jackson online for about a year before she had to be sent away. I was probably the last person on Twitter that talked to her. And she was getting harassed just like me. And I was sure it was the same people. And I told her for months to not talk to them. They'll try to hurt you. They tried to get me to commit suicide after they stole my material. And I was stronger than that. And they said they don't know why I live. They tried everything in the world to make me kill myself. They said they even attempted to murder me before, and I escaped in my car. But with Paris, I'm pretty sure it's the same group. And it's really sad that she had to suffer and be sent away. It was no fault of her own. But if you recall, they were going to court against some people that may be affiliated with the people doing this to me. And it messed up the whole court case. So I'm putting this out because they won't leave me alone. I hate to leave my home, but they won't leave me alone. And I've told them I don't want any affiliation with Hollywood. I never asked for a nickel, but I can prove all of this is true.